Blog Talk Radio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to the Poetic Inklings of Tomorrow.
Are you on the
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are. Okay, sorry.
Welcome to the Poetic Inklings of Tomorrow, brought to you by Poetic Slice of Life, which is a group that's located on allpoetry.com, ran by Kevin and his wonderful crew of administrators. Thank you for them keeping that site running. The group is owned by my lovely, beautiful wife, Kay, who is sitting next to me right now, multitasking and controlling everything.
You have such kind of a cockiness there.
Was it?
Oh, you're looking at me.
All right, tonight we are talking about, this has been, we made this week Tim Burton / Danny Elfman week, and we had some pretty deep quotes from both of them to write to tonight in Poetic Inklings. So this will be interesting, I think. I think there was a couple of quotes that were probably favored over the rest.
Well, that happens for every show, that one quote speaks to others more so. Every show I've noticed we have a popular quote of the night.
Yeah.
And I definitely will see that tonight, too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, every poem that we read tonight that the author is not present to read, we have express written permission from that author to read their works on the air. I don't believe there's anything else I need to say, is there? Except for, hello, Raz.
Hello.
How you doing, Steve? It's good to see you again. Having another fine hour talking about literature.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Always fun.
It is.
It's a party.
Yeah.
To quote Danny Elfman, it's a dead man's party. Who could ask for more? Everybody's come leave your body at the door.
Yeah. Before he quit his musical, career with film.
We put Joseph in a Beethoven mood. Let's say hello to Joseph out there on the board. I don't know if there's anybody else out there right now.
So far, I only saw Joseph, but I know certain people are still hanging over at Crystal's. So I know before long, it will pick up.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Hello, Joseph.
Just some great quotes right here, what you got, like prompt 8. I never really got nightmares from movies. In fact, I recall my father saying when I was 3 years old that I would be scared, but I never was. From Tim Burton?
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely had some dark movies. None of Tim Burton's movies ever really scared me. There were other movies, like from Wes Craven or something, that would scare me, but...
You understand the joke, right? That his dad meant that he would be scared of being punished, but by 3 yet, somehow horror movies was just not really his thing, actually feeling the fear.
Yeah. All right. Oh, you already dropped a poem in the room.
Yes, I did. Yes. I know Sandy, she's not going to be here tonight, so since we have that blanket email in our email account, I will read her first tonight. Let's see. Okay. This is by Heavenly Angel, and she did use the following quote. I always liked strange characters. There's something quite exciting when you have a history of somebody and you see them do new and different things. And visions are worth fighting for. Why spend your life making someone else's dreams?
I like that one.
Yeah, that's cool. And of course, throughout her write, she said she used lines from her one write, Dear Daddy. Then, of course, in the ANs, you can read she used certain songs that she paid homage to through the words as well. And this is called The Leader of the Band, My Dad. There's something quite exciting when you have a history with somebody and you see them do new and different things. My dad would smile with pride, with love, every time I accomplished something new and different. Visions are worth fighting for. Why spend your life making someone else's dreams? I hear my dad saying this. He always believed in my ability to be whatever I wanted to go the dream. One thing I remember my daddy often saying, style wiener if he thought everything was fine. Don't know why he chose those particular words, but I thought they made for a catchy line. I always liked strange characters, and my dad was wonderfully strange. I remember Daddy's hands worked until they bled, sacrificed unselfishly just to keep us all fed. If I could do things over, I'd live my life again and never take for granted the love in Daddy's hands. He built me a house in the arms of a tree. He taught me to drive and to fight and to dream. My dad's a hero to me. He prayed while I made some mistakes that I wouldn't have made if I had done it his way. And he gave me a gift I know I can never repay. Daddy, I thank you for the freedom when it came my time to go. Thank you for the kindness and the times when you got tough. You could not feel the value that I placed on every look that crossed your face when you were here. I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band, and not a day passes that I don't long for you in my heart. I'm still Daddy's girl. End point.
Yeah, this was a very sweet tribute to her father. I've written a few to my father as well, and actually her dad sounds like somebody my father would have gotten along with pretty well, actually. So maybe they're up there listening to the show in heaven together. But writing about them helps, and it also keeps their memory alive. And by keeping their memory alive, it keeps them alive.
Okay.
I thought this was an excellent write. What did you think, Raz?
It's always deep when a person pays respect to their father. And the way this poet wrote about him being a leader of a band, it shows that he had a very good and noble side to him in getting things done right and raising his children. It's the kind of reverence that the words are said. And aside from that, is that also a Danny Fogelbert song?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's what me and Joseph were talking about on the board, the leader of the band.
Mm-hmm.
That was Dan Fogelberg, and I was just about to tell Joseph that I like the end of the song when they go into the instrumental part, because for some reason it's weird. It makes me think of the movie Carrie, because it kind of has similarities to the instrumental music from Carrie. But the song itself is also very beautiful when it's talking about being the leader of the band.
Sad song.
It is, but it's still very beautiful. Yeah. I love the instrumental part to the song. I do.
Yeah.
Pick it up, Maestro, where you once left off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this too. But the song to me, I know we're getting off subject, but
that's okay.
The song to me always made me think of, I believe I mentioned this on the show before, it was Mr. Irwine was the band leader when I was in grade school and junior high.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what disease he ended up with, but he was in a wheelchair towards the end. He couldn't teach after a while. And the song leader of the band always made me think of him, because I remember the last time we all saw him was at a Memorial Day thing where we were at the cemetery playing, taps and all that, and he was there in his wheelchair, and we all kind of made a line and kind of shook his hand as we walked by, but the look in his eyes showed that he really didn't know what was going on.
Alzheimer's disease?
It might have been, yeah. I'm not sure.
My grandmother suffered from such a sickness. She, towards the end, could not recognize a single family member.
Yeah, Kay's grandfather, too.
Yeah, it's very saddening when that does happen. Because it wipes your existence from you without asking. It just takes. And that has to be, for the person who has to bear that weight, that has to be the hardest thing to do. To see all your memories slipping and you're not recognizing who, all those people in your life. I thought the rite itself, though, from Sandy was very beautiful. Because as I told her, it's
definitely
a
one of the
beautiful
hardest
tribute.
sickness
It is.
that there is out there.
It is. Sandy's rite. It's very beautiful. It's a love and tribute to her father. And as I told her, her father, he seemed like he was a very amazing man. He was a great man. And I appreciate her sharing the rite with us tonight. And the inspiration that she found and how she was able to incorporate so many great elements with the quotes and then the music as well. That's always cool when, you could pull older songs into rites and people will recognize them because it makes you appreciate the older music as well. Because there's a lot to appreciate with music from yesteryear.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and we should welcome Sky.
Okay. Hello, Sky.
Hello.
How you doing,
How you driving?
Sky?
I'm alive. What did you say?
I asked if you were driving still.
No, I got back about 10, and I just walked in the door. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
What do you think, Sky? 2 wrongs makes a right, but 5 rights and you can start your own government?
I don't know about that.
Who's judging what's right and what's wrong? That's the real question.
Just to see over one of these other log rooms I'm in called Brevity. That was a discussion for a second.
I would be questioning who is doing the judging. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Although that's always tough to have a biased government.
Yeah.
Well, I meant like who's saying what's right and what's wrong,
Yeah.
Right. Wrong. Right. Left.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. You may be right. I may be crazy.
Yeah.
But
or
it
there just
may
could be
a lunatic you're looking for.
that you're looking for.
There we go.
We were a little off there. We gotta work on our backup there, Raz. We gotta work up on our backup timing.
I thought it was pretty good actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Where did you want to go?
Have Raz read this one?
Okay. Raz, would
I
you
can
like to read for
the
Fountain
next
Pen?
poem on the board. And When I'm Old and Gray by Fountain Pen. And when I'm old and gray, and when I'm old and gray, that my eyes behold no shine, they won't fool this mind's foresight that remembers how to contemplate the sun in all the splendor, the setting in majesty and grandeur, the sublime rising, the goal, the colors that paint the infinite sky that you hear in a lulling lullaby, an extended blooming metaphor, poeticizing round beauty's finest silhouette, and the gleaming timeless pirouettes, testimony of an inimitable starlight, the sound heart cannot but treasure for life. Prompts
Excellent
to,
read.
a lot of the things you see as a child remain with you. You spend a lot of your life trying to recapture the experience, Mr. Tim Burton.
Awesome read. What did you think?
A great modern and yet traditional sense of verse. The rhyming scheme goes from the height of acknowledging that although life reaches a more less pleasant and even decaying turn of events when we develop further into age, that despite all this, the things which fulfill one's learning, including the infinity of night, the infinity of heaven, and how the stars look over our constant travel through this earth, that those precious types of details don't just go away simply because a person comes of an age to possibly consider too mature not to approach or even discuss the kind of wisdom that might have accumulated over the years. But I would think a fountain pen's right.
Yeah, excellent comment. Very deep. Yeah, I thought this was a very cool brevity. Just going by what the quote says, and looking at some of the words that he uses, some of the metaphor, it just tells me, and Kay and I talk about this all the time. We get older, we all get older, but it is important to try to keep the inner child alive, and it's important to play and have fun every now and then, because if you don't, your life's going to end quicker, I think, than it should. But yeah, this is definitely a powerful word. What did you think, Sky?
What Raz said, times two. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was wondering if he was going to take that answer. I was like, I don't know how to say it. I thought, I'm really cheeky today. Okay. I thought this was such a great piece. I really enjoy Fountain Pen. They're really, really top notch. I've been following them for a while, and they're just wonderful. But what I really like is the phrasing and the meaning in this first stanza. If we look at it, and when I'm old and gray, that my eyes behold no shine, they won't fool this mind's foresight that remembers how to contemplate the sun in all its splendor. So even when they're old and gray, it doesn't matter what they see. They know that they're going to have those fond memories, that they can't be, that the eyes can't fool the heart. I really love that idea. My eyes can't fool the heart. And, and you're always told to look with your heart and not with your eyes or whatever. So in a way, this was twisted, and it's very creatively and uniquely done by changing it up a little bit and saying my eyes won't fool my heart, and putting it in that kind of setting, which I really enjoyed. I thought the whole piece was great, but I really especially loved that beginning and the message that it sends right off the bat. Great piece.
Excellent comment. What did you think, hon?
Well, yeah, I mean, as we get older, there's definitely a lot of memories that do reside within, and hopefully the memories that are good outweigh the bad that are there. I have to agree with what you said, though, too, as to always knowing how to keep the happiness every day by keeping certain elements alive within, or else, you lose the magic of what a day can hold. Because at the end of the day, our memories, they are what keep the heart light if we're lucky, and to warm our days as we get older. It's a great way.
Excellent comment.
Awesome.
All right. Where are we going next?
Okay, well, I will. Does Sky want to read next?
Sky, did you want to read your poem?
I'd love to.
Ooh.
You got side effects. Oh, what am I doing? I'm pasting my own poem. I'm not really sure what's happening. Hold on. All right, I'm really ready now. Yeah. Okay. It's called North Shore, and it's an old one, 2014, by Sky Darkle. Branches hung in early October. Their shadows danced along dirt roads. The tattered soles and worn sneakers tried to reach those I'm sorry. I'm going to start reading. I'm all messed up. Branches hung in early October. Their shadows danced along dirt roads. The tattered soles of worn sneakers tried to reach those calming timbers, veered from rocked paths into wood. Perhaps in hopes leaves would shelter, just for a few more weeks before the wake of winter stripped them bare. It is hard to hide against the white, to escape in marbled stone kingdoms, pretend to smile so hearts are palatable. Tears no longer evaporate with sunrise, they become defined on cold cheeks. There are no meadows in which to run. Grieving bark becomes inconsolable, wedged between the walls and closets, and left to scale the spines of books. The only light held in small hands, pale from dark of somber months, leafing through dusted page of poetry. In winter, I can still feel the envelope, as if I were still sealed in those rooms. Summer never seemed so long enough. Well, I butchered that. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I should have practiced that one.
I thought you did pretty good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I read this one. Earlier today, and I might be off. Me as the metaphor, right, Sky? But
I don't. You get it all the time.
Yeah, I see isolation in this, but also the want for isolation. Even though you're trying to fade into the background, you're still sticking out kind of like a sore thumb, but still preferring the isolation, even though you're thrown into the crowd. I actually went through similar things when I was in my youth, even still today. But nowadays I definitely would prefer the comfort of home, and as I put in my comment to you, which I define as Kay and our cats, rather than being
tacos.
out in the mess. And tacos.
And
this is
Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
And her sassiness.
But I thought this was very relatable and excellent right, Sky.
Thank you.
Raz, what did you think?
Yeah, the poem described one of those seasons where you feel it's a really long winter. And as you're getting lost within the temperature of the season, a part of you kind of drifts into the actual weather phenomenon and into the overcast skies, the cold, the very essence of the season. And it seems with all these imageries of the marble stone kingdoms and the cold cheeks and the spines of books, which are like the rocky paths into woods, that the person is on a kind of spiritual quest into trying to be reborn again in spring.
Very cool comment. What did you think, hon?
Well, yeah, I love the picture because anybody who has heard me prattle on, they know that I like autumn and winter, because winter, it does carry its own depth of stillness. But for me, it also speaks to my heart because it has its own silent beauty. And there's a lot of things in life that do have its own silent beauty. Winter carries that. But also, as Stephen was saying, isolation carries its own silent beauty, because if you can enjoy your own company, then you're not truly alone. Most people, they cannot enjoy their alone time or their own company. And if that is the case, then isolation and solitude is only going to make things worse. But then, as Raz was speaking of too, I think that speaks a lot too, because there's a lot of beauty to be found through life, through discovery of oneself, or even through seasons unfolding. Because as I always say, spring offers, every season, they offer a new hope for renewal. It's always a promise that while this one chapter is closing, another one is going to be open. And this rite itself, it definitely has a lot of beautiful metaphors for life, and also the season itself. Cool, right?
Thank you.
All right. Where are we going?
Going to drop Raz and then Joseph.
Going to drop the gold winner in the room. Is the gold winner here?
I think he is.
I might be. Yeah, I didn't expect to have the whole golden ribbon this time. This is really more than I can take being one of the winners at this level, but here goes my poem. Sad Songs in Rain. Tearful raindrops pelting the cobbled burrows. Rain falls down, and the floodgate opens for the accidental windshield wiper to miss the right-of-way turn. Drowning the curved sidewalk of the elm-covered lane, and the down live wires sparking to the yellow poncho straddled who would try the reanimating transformer. Why is my darkest sentiment of mourning on the lost stage going into the storm-drained countercurrent, and the ripples trickling the grate, and low, bleary eyes, dried up, exhausted, not even rising to moisture? A related dumbing of the receptors lipping, and the numbing the muscular nerve tendons are bursted forth, of grumbling thunder, exposing briefly the flared lightning that somehow there is not overcoming all of life's struggle morosely. And the saddest songs are probably the hardest we can swallow, because they were recorded under a studio's bright light when the clouds darkening the midtime horizon are the ashen gray remnants of the pounding electrical storms which better express a plutocracy. The falling condensation relentless is a suppressed sadness now born absent of expression, watching the drenched act of Lent, non-forgiven. Purgatory pity not clearer on the minds who see the damned levee and the lugubrious cycle of never-ending rain. It started one day unknown, and the battering rainfall has never stopped again. Whoever likes sad songs and able to express the broken loss of a single figure caught in the stormy fray. On the quote, if there's something I really love, it's sad music. Inspired by Danny Elfman.
Yeah, this was definitely a powerful right. Your rights are always packed with very powerful metaphor, but this one really kind of knocked the wind out of me the first time I read it. This is definitely one of your best that I've ever read from you. This is just awesome. Let's see, the grumbling thunder exposing briefly the flared lightning bolt, that somehow there is not overcoming all life struggle morosely. This is just awesome. Blew me away. Sky, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a great piece. I really loved this opening. Some beautiful language here put together. Tearful raindrops, pelting. I love that. It's not something you hear too often. So, pelting the cobbled burrows, rain falls down, and the footgate opens. There's this entire, not only scene setting, but very vivid and great use of language, kind of just setting that foundation of the piece and saying, here's the scene in such a beautiful way. And then you go on, and I know that it's kind of compact, but I really feel like this is probably the shortest one I've read from you. And even saying that, the lines are always pretty lengthy and full of meaning, and you have to kind of take each one and kind of chew it over a little bit and see what different directions you could go in. But I really liked this one. The language was excellent, and the following it along as well. So, well done.
Thank you very much.
What do you think, hon?
I like the quote that you chose. If there's something I really love, it's sad music. There's something to be said sometimes for sad music, because at times when I am alone, I listen to music daily. But when I am home alone, sometimes I purposely will listen to sad music, because if you have certain emotions stuck within, sometimes if you listen to certain music, it can unjar those emotions, sometimes crack open the tears and let it spill out onto the page for others to see. In its own way, it can give its own relief too, listening to sad music, while also helping, the soul to be a little bit more freer than it was before, instead of carrying the ache that's inside. I love what you did with the quote and how you spoke of it, because sad songs and rain, yeah, those are two elements that have their own sadness to it. But I also feel that sometimes listening to sad songs, they definitely help to unjar what's within.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing.
Yeah.
As you can see, the narrator decides that Rainstorm is, in fact, somehow sadder than the music. But, I mean, that would be the take on the poem. Anyone's voice of perception on tragedy and depression can alter per, a moment's notice or how a mood is like during a certain cycle of that kind of sickness, depression. It's not to say the narrator might not choose a separate time that perhaps sad songs or neither. Even the rain is why they feel so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I was taking the rain and as a metaphor for tears, as well as the way that I was reading it. Heavy tears, crying so much that you're flooding the streets. That kind of thing. Been there, but everybody has their own way of reading a poem. But just like I said, this one just knocked me for a loop. Whereas I had to give you the gold, and I also had to nominate it for a front page. Oh. So hopefully it gets there too for you soon. Let's welcome Boo to the room.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm back.
How you doing, Boo?
Good. How are you? I liked your poem too, Raz. What I heard. I mean, I agree that depression is, they call it the master manipulator, and I think that's apropos because it not only affects the person, it affects everyone around them and their life, and it's devastating. And, I lost somebody I really loved to depression and watched them dwindle away into a shell of who they used to be, and it's a sad thing to see. So I thought your poem was really good.
Thank you very much. I thought this out only because of Danny Elfman. I don't know. I think it might be just repressed feelings I've had for a long time. I do suffer from depression, so that's sort of there about where I find those metaphors of my own personal observations over the years. But eventually it has nothing to do with the rain. You understand through medical science that it's really a mood disorder more than anything else that could be attributed or attached to the actual inner impressions of the external world.
Yeah. I think like 1 in 5 are depressed, or so they say, so it affects a lot of people.
I believe that. I know. I'll just share this. Kay and I are both what they call functional depressives. So we both suffer. So we both suffer from it too as well. But
yeah. I mean, shoot, I don't know anybody who doesn't in one way or another.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
You got to pony up and ride that thing.
Or
else nobody's gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
As long as nobody tells me. As long as I don't hear one more time, reduce your stress.
Yeah.
Reduce your stress.
No excessive, Joe.
What?
Whether it's anxiety, depression, you have to write it out.
Are you talking about the infomercials tonight?
Oh, those are really sad.
Well, I have some peppermint sleep herbal tea stuff that they just starting to work on.
Sleepy time stuff?
Whenever it's not like it's supposed to be sleepy time, but I drink it all day long because even the smell of it calms me down. It's like, ooh, that's just.
Does anybody wonder why you're out of it during the daytime?
No.
For that, you
I'm
just
like really
grab a bottle of melatonin and start popping it like candy every half hour. So I mean, who wants to ever feel any kind of symptoms when you could be drowsy for a whole 24?
Well, you gotta think about it this way. You know when I comment and I don't like breathe when I'm speaking, and I'm like, yeah. Just imagine me like that, but like in life. So let's picture that in life, okay? So the herbal tea brings me down to a calmer place. That's like normal people.
That's like Ritalin when those take Ritalin don't need it.
It's not even that I'm hyper. It's just that when I start talking and thinking, I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. And then people just look at me and they're like, I have no idea what you just said. And I'm like, it's okay, I did. It's all right.
Steve writes some of his best work after Tylenol PM.
True. It's true.
Oh my gosh! I went on. So this is the thing. I went to Stephen. I'm gonna. I'm gonna put a plug in here. Can I do that real quick, Stephen?
Sure.
Is that fine? So I went to Stephen's page. The plug is you, by the way. And I read this. I made a New Year's resolution to read Stephen's sci-fi. He has this whole science fiction series. About 40 of them, 40-something about them on Stephen's page. So I'm halfway done, and I said, my New Year's resolution, and I'm finally going to get to your page, and I'm going to read that. So I read like 20 of them, just blew them right out. Read them so fast because they were good, so I kept going. And that's that part of it. When I was on your page, I seen you had a whole entire list devoted to Tylenol PM. You put them in a folder.
Yeah, I did.
That is how this all connects. Now you see where my mind is going. It all connects. So when I was so if you want to go to Stephen's page, this is the summary of the plug. If you want, go to Stephen's page, and he'll have two lists. And he'll have one, the sci-fi series, brilliant. And then the other list, I didn't get to go into it, but I did see the name, and that was a Tylenol PM one. And I cracked up laughing. And I'm like, I wonder what kind of poems are in there.
Where do you get your Tylenol PM food from anyone?
Well, thanks, Sky.
You're welcome.
And I'm on to chapter 9, by the way, on that book, converting those poems into a book. So.
Yeah, you're going to have to send me chapter, but don't wait to give it to me all at once. Start sending them now.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
By chapter.
Where did you want to go, hon?
Well, first you should ask if Boo is in a hurry, because I was going to drop Joseph next.
All right, Boo, are you in a hurry? Button sticking.
I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Then I am going to read.
Yeah. I saw Joseph said he would like you to read it.
Yeah.
Can I read it?
Oh, he wants Kay to read it. He requested.
Oh no,
Kay.
I thought you said Boo. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Sorry.
It's all right.
Okay, this is by Joseph Moon, and it's called Imagination is Not Where It Starts, but Where It Arrives. I wander in search of words and find thoughts. Here in a love story, I dream of devilish days. I whirl in heavenly hues and primrose polka dots. A poet of gallantry singing a romantic phrase. My quill, my sword, shining by my side, my tender hand upon my lady's heart. With sweet flies we lay wide-eyed, wild adventures and a white stallion, never apart. Now I wander in search of youth, finding wisdom, my mind an eagle of glorious feathers and wings. I soar through clouds like colored light through a prism. I write verse while Venus plays her harp strings. Each and every time we dance, my journey doth advance. End poem.
Excellent read, hon. Very well done. I'm trying to find the prompt that he said he wrote to. It's
prompt 10.
Prompt 10. It's good as an artist to always remember to see things in a new, weird way. From Tim Burton. Yeah, and this was really cool. I thought, well, Joseph and his brevity is always amazing. But, yeah, I know, I could see that where he's through the poem, the metaphor is speaking of looking for, trying to find something else to write about, something new. And as writers, we do have to keep our eyes open. We're always looking for inspiration, so we can pull that pen from its sheath and write, as he used his sword as a metaphor for his pen in there too. But this was really cool. Excellent write, Joseph.
Yes, he says it's an English sonnet.
An English sonnet, okay. Yes, I see that. Raz, what did you think?
Yeah, this is deeply romantic on thinking of the whole creative process and trying to just keep on moving forward, as well as the metaphors Mr. Moon uses, like devilish days, love stories gone by, a lady's tender heart or hand, and even ultimately through colored lights and prisms, you can hear him tapping away at the beat that Venus makes with her harpstrings while they dance, and in that romance try to enlighten their spirits upon the actuality and beautiful notions of poetic verses. This is packed with wonderful traditional sentiment on a writer's craft being Masonic, and at the same time trying to relay to the reader a sense of heaven. That's what I liked about Joseph's poem.
Awesome comment. And Sky, what did you think?
I thought it was a beautiful piece. I really, tying in the quote, especially with those last lines, I soar through clouds like colored light through a prism. And when you talk about light and prisms, there's so many, when you look at that, there are so many different angles that reflect in such different ways. So when I'm thinking of tying this, what a better way to tie, looking at the world differently or looking at experiences differently than to look through a prism when there are such 1,000 different ways that the light can just catch that angle just right. So right there, absolutely beautiful. And then, every time we dance, my journey doth advance, every time getting closer to that destiny. So this is excellently done, Joseph.
Awesome comment. What did you think, hon?
Oh yeah, I love the direction that Joseph took with this because imagination is ours to own. I like the line, each and every time we dance, my journey doth advance. It's a beautiful way to close, I feel. It does speak of what's in a poet's heart because with a lot of us here, with what we write a lot of the time, it does give its own inspiration that speaks of its own wisdom. And if we're lucky to be gifted with insight and wisdom from other writers, I always feel that's a very beautiful thing because Joseph Moon and Wayne are two people I talk to every day, and in their own way. They have their own amazing insight, and they have a lot to offer as far as wisdom on a daily basis. So, I love what your ANs say as well, Joseph. 'Tis not where thee start, but where thee arrive. Imagination, 'tis a poet. It's very true. Imagination is ours to own, and hopefully to inspire others as well. Beautiful.
Jeez, oh man.
What?
You talk to Joseph and Wayne every day. You don't even talk to me every day.
Oh, shut up.
I know. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Hi, Sweet Pea.
Hello.
How you doing,
How's
Sweet
ping
Pea?
pong?
I'm good. Oh,
Did you figure out the ping pong?
The ping pong, yeah.
I did.
Good.
Awesome.
Is this another one of your sisters, Stephen?
I'm his dark sister.
Yes, my sister in darkness.
Does Sleepy have to read and run? Or?
Yeah,
Does Kay know, or does Sweet Pea just show up in the middle of the night by the window and Kay doesn't notice?
No, Kay knows when I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is going down a very, very dark path. I'm listening.
I keep Sky in my dungeon.
I'm there now.
We need some.
That's right.
We need some thunder sound effects right about now. That'd be perfect.
Yeah. Does Sleepy have to read and run?
Do you need to read and run, Sweet Pea?
I don't. But I would.
Oh.
You don't, but you would. Which one is it?
Well, whatever you want me to do.
Oh, well, you have something in the chamber ready to fire, so why don't we just...
Okay, I will shoot off Sonia's, and then I'll drop Sweet Pea, and then I'll drop off Desperander. Do you want to read Sonia?
Sure, I can read Sonia. This is called Being a Tomboy. And I believe this would be to the quote...
look in the ANs. We just put it in our ANs. I think it's 13? 12?
12.
Okay, what's number 12? Let me go there. Number 12. A lot of things you see as a child remain with you. You spend a lot of your life trying to recapture the experience.
And this is called Being a Tomboy by Sonia 3902Z. As a child, I was called a tomboy, followed my twin brother like a shadow. Wherever he went, I would tag along, hanging out with schoolboys to belong. Backyard kickball kept us out of trouble, playing for hours during summer. I learned to play rough like all the others. Being the only girl, I considered them brothers. The neighborhood park was our hangout. This is where we would meet and greet, toss a ball and climb a sturdy shade tree. As initiation, the boys encouraged me. Being the shortest member of the gang, they hoisted me up the tall and leafy tree. The sun was setting and I yelled to get down. No one answered me as I cried with a frown. It seemed like forever. My brother arrived. He and a neighbor carried a wooden ladder, placed it against the tall and rough trunk. Climbing down slowly, I landed with a kerplunk. End poem.
Kerplunk,
Kerplunk, kerplooey, yeah.
Yeah, thinking written down.
Yeah. I really like this because it brought back memories for me because I was a tree climber when I was young. And as for tomboys, they're the best. Ever since I was even in junior high, I was always more liking the girls that were tomboys rather than the prissy ones, I guess you could say. Just like I always told Kay, facts of life, I always had a crush on Joe rather than Blair. Definitely.
Blair was high maintenance.
Right, and Joe was cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely brought back memories, like I said. I can remember climbing trees and even getting stuck in a few, too. But my favorite tree to climb was always my grandfather's cherry tree because I would sit up there and just eat cherries right off the branches. The best.
Mm-hmm.
This was a great poem. Raz, what did you think?
Yeah, this in essence invocates and captures one's youth and the descriptions of going all the way into the past, if not specifically for this narrator's stories of being a tomboy and being caught in a tree that one time. You have the feeling of nostalgia of what it was like when everything was only a question of the field of dreams and where we would aspire from there, from just simple play to the individuals that we would later become based on those experiences that crucially are the fundamental parts of one's psychology until death. So this really does justice to the thought of going down memory lane onto our very basic childhoods and what we could find Good poem.
Excellent comment. And
Sky dropped.
Sky dropped, so she didn't hear it. Okay. Okay. Boo is back. But Boo.
My heart hurts.
Okay. Let's we'll let Boo read over it really quick, and we'll get a comment from Sweet Pea.
Okay. Well, comments from Sweet Pea. Good luck with this, guys. I've been kind of screwing up all day. Well, first off, I love tomboys. Not that I was very much a tomboy. But tomboys are great. I did like to climb trees and read books, so that's really cool. But this is very well written. I love how Sonia writes. It's got great rhyme. It's really great. I was always the shortest of them, also Sonia, but I just climbed bushes instead of trees, so that was always really great for me. And I was never allowed to cross the street, and so the boys always played baseball across the street, and I always had to stay on the other side of the street, so I could never be the tomboy anyway, and I didn't like my hands to get dirty, but I really thought this was really great. You have just perfect rhyme and storytelling abilities, so.
Yeah, awesome comment. I just put in the chat room that a tomboy is a girl who isn't afraid to bait a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Boo, did you get a chance to look it over?
She's on mute.
Boo, are you on mute?
She placed herself on mute.
Sorry. Jesus. I'm losing it today. I did not, but I'm getting over there. I'll read it right now. Sorry, my screen was stuck. But I'll read it really quick. I'm lagging. Sorry. I think it's a quick one, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not too
Yes,
bad.
it is.
Well, I was going to say before, Steve, to your comment about, don't most men prefer Marianne to Ginger?
I think so.
Yeah.
Marianne was damn hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. This reminds me like simpler days, when I was growing up and we'd just go outside and there'd be somebody to play with, you know what I mean? You didn't have to ask around or, everybody just kind of hung out. Much simpler times. When it seemed like forever, my brother arrived. All those things we do when we're when we're kids that we look back on, like I burned my neighbor's lawn down, no joke. So, can you imagine? So, a lot of good memories in here. I like the way that she writes because what I've read of it's always direct, and you never have to guess what she's saying. And she has a good sense of humor, so I liked it.
Awesome comment. Where are you going next, hon? Sweet Pea?
Well, yeah, I was going to drop her next, but I will comment on Sonia's.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just totally flying over me.
Sure.
But yeah, I thought Sonia's right. It was a conversation tonight. It's very true. I can agree. There's something to be said about a girl who knows how to get her hands dirty. Because, you guys are all talking about Marianne because, she had her own attractiveness to her, but she had it in a way where it didn't need to be fed in so many ways. Because high maintenance girls, they need too much. And it's hard to keep up with a high maintenance girl, but a tomboy, they're a lot of fun to have, around because it's true. You can, as you said, they know how to bait a hook. Yeah. But there's something to be said because I feel a real woman is in her own sense a tomboy in certain ways, who knows how to play with the boys, but also is not afraid to get their hands dirty. Yeah. Because it has its own style. It's so attractive to it. But the write itself, it had a great feel of nostalgia to it as well because it was reminiscent of, childhood days. Yeah.
I know how to play with the boys, and I don't get my hands dirty.
The fantasy phase.
I get my hands dirty every day.
So,
I can't help it.
A girl who likes to get her hands dirty, that would have to be the ambassador of the U.S., formerly Nikki Haley. I mean, how much does it get to war? But
I don't like getting my hands dirty. It's just something about putting my hands in the dirt. I just can't stand it. I don't clean a house and I'll do all that, but I can't put my hands in the dirt. I can't stand it.
You need a man for something.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
I can confess,
Mary Ann was
I am a boy. I don't mind dirt. I can just stay completely dirty or run into soil and find no kind of personal infliction upon the fact of there being dirt on myself. So I wouldn't consider myself a girl at that. I did notice that women do like to avoid any kind of soilage, and that's not true of a male, including getting sweat.
Well, the thing is, sometimes you have no choice. You have to do things for yourself, or nobody's going to do it for you. So you have to learn how to get your hands dirty, get them in the dirt, get them in the shit, honey. And then you need to, because nobody else will do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I clean up a lot of dog poop, so I guess that's where it's.
Yeah. Cat poop, yeah.
Mother, teach your sons some manners.
Yeah.
I think the best thing about a tomboy is, and most of the women that I have dated would be considered tomboys, including the one sitting next to me, is they're pretty, but they don't know they're pretty.
And that's better. Makes it.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think most guys like the natural, cute, kind of cutesy gal. A little bit of makeup, natural kind of vibe going. That's what I've seen, anyway.
Yeah.
The fantasy phase,
Yeah. Yeah. I use gloves too, Sweet Pea, like when I'm using the snake.
Yeah. Oh, see, I do all of that. I just can't plant things with my hands. I'm not like flower planter. Ugh.
No, me neither.
Can't do
gardener? No.
Yeah, no. Ugh, it's gross.
No. I like a guy with a big brain.
I have a guy with a big brain, yeah. Mm-mm. All right, so this is me. And I use the quote, I've always been misrepresented. I could dress in a clown costume and laugh with the happy people, but they still say I'm a dark personality. That's what this is too. So this is a darker side.
Did you say you like to dress up like a clown sometimes?
No, the quote.
Why is that your cup of tea? I'm kidding.
Yes. I dress up as a clown with a happy face every once in a while. I just finished this, so I don't know how well it's edited. Come stand outside your window. I'm not sure how well this is edited, so I apologize. I stand outside of in Ohio. I do that a lot. It's very common.
I thought so.
Onyx cinders still loiter over the bones of my feet. Amber fires of fornication where ash of burned bodies lay. Reanimation of scenery incites vindictiveness, undiluted spitefulness. Not in my character. Weakness is my darkness. Neptune whispers from gray cap waves, come, rejuvenate in ripples that caress golden sands. I exfoliate using the blackening claws of dead crows. Peaks of purple mountains slender, come, curl not in valleys of loathing, climb beyond darkness, and greet teal skies, smile at the sun. A handsome man with raven hair and sapphire eyes says, come. Healing scars scream, run. Ocean cleansed feet, mountains healed peace. A chance at love, let the fires roar. And I will toast one more. End poem.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yes, indeed. Of course, I like your dark imagery, sister, especially when we're talking about where did that go? I exfoliate using The blackening claws of dead crows. How about that? I keep those in my medicine cabinet.
Really
this is just this is really cool. But at the end, it's almost like you were saved from your darkness by your hero, right? Your husband?
No.
No?
It says, let the fires roar, and I will toast one more. We go right back to the cycle of my burning the bodies.
Oh, okay. Even darker.
Even
Cool
darker.
stuff.
So
Can you read
like
that?
I said, no.
This is really cool, Sweepy. I don't know. I'm sorry. Kay was just pointed out what Joseph said on the board. I'm not going to read it. But yeah, I can understand that, Joseph.
Oh.
As long as it's not a deeper tragedy like shrinkage.
That's right.
Yeah.
What did you think of Sweet Pea's poem, Raz?
Yeah, here, this is a great poem. I see not so much anything of the sordid or morbid nature, but what it's like to battle during war or overcome great adversity, and then in the line after the fires have finished roaring that you toast more, one is celebrating the fact that they have been able to defeat or at least hinder the opposition to the point of trying to fight one more day. So that's what I saw in the poem.
Thank you.
Awesome comment. This guy's still not with us. Boo, what did you think?
I was wondering when you said burning the bodies, what you were talking about. I mean, I think I know, but I'm not sure. But I love the picture. The picture is just it's creepy and kind of erotic and it's really trippy. I mean, I like the picture, but onyx, one of my favorite words. So you open up with that, and that just grabs you right there. The bones of my feet, amber fires. It's almost like, I just want to see like seductive. You're drawn to her, but you shouldn't be, and they just can't help themselves. She's something about her that grabs them back. I love that too, exfoliating using black and crows. That's really clever. And I see purple again, but I'm not going to go with Prince this time. I see. Yeah, this is I almost see it like a fantasy, like a twisted, weird fantasy of a girl that you can't have, but
no, she's actually like the angel of death, like written in the form of where she takes no lover seriously, and she's just burning them like left and right because she's never going to take one seriously. So she's just burning them out of her life, kind of metaphorically.
Oh, very clever. That's good. Well, we should all do that. I should give her a match. Good poem.
Burn them all.
Burn them all.
Burn. Good
Quote Donald Sutherland
I
in
love
backdraft.
The creepy. Matter of fact, I got a light.
What did you think, hon?
Yeah, I really like this. I love, what is it? The second stanza when you talk about reanimation of scenery, incites vindictiveness, undiluted spitefulness, not my character, weakness is my darkness. But then, the close, and it pulls it all together very well. And hearing you explain the right, I can really understand that more so. Yeah. It's cool. It's dark. Kind of like a man-eater. Right?
Yeah,
right.
Sensuality there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. After looking it over again, I saw a succubus
Yeah.
Succubus.
Succubus. Irresistible, but the last ride you'll ever have. Will it be worth it?
It's a game you're willing to throw the dice.
It's also a kind of, as Joseph said, it's very abstract for me because I don't usually write in abstract.
Yeah. And it's
But
that's the point why it's art, because there can be so many different interpretations of the single piece.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the quote is also very abstract.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't see a clown suit anywhere in the poem.
No. But I can understand the quote meaning, because it does have its own life to it. Because the thing is, somehow, certain people, they look at my rights and they think I'm a Debbie Downer all the time, but they don't see me flitting around being positive with how I interact with people and how I am here. They just look at my rights and think, oh, she's really depressed. There's something wrong with her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all people will see, and they refuse to see more.
Yeah. They take it literally, everything literally.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
To the point you have to make a little note at the bottom even, It's like,
I will not
I
be killing myself this afternoon. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm okay, everyone. Please don't send the police.
Yes.
Exactly.
Just like the one that I wrote
that's
for your
why
show tomorrow night,
Tuesday
Sweetie.
for me.
I'm sure everybody's going to be
Tuesday.
wondering what the hell's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, and that's why the total sarcasm and I will toast one more, I've got this Prince Charming coming to get me. Okay, let the fires roar. Oh yeah, and I will toast one more. It's just a nod. It's just a nod to let's go back to my, burning of the flame. So.
Yeah. Well, Prince Charming, he's probably a little more tenderized too, so easier eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't eat them. I just burn them.
All I get is that you're mentioning this poem might be on LGBTs, but I did not see that. I saw mostly perseverity. So what I mean about different interpretations, different minds, and then there's
yes,
the same
I
poem.
appreciate that.
All right. We're putting Jasperan's in the room?
Yeah, because Jasperan is on.
He's back from shopping. Hello, Jasperan out there.
And after Jasperan, I will drop Susan into the room. Oh, let me do this. I have to do this bit here.
Oh,
okay. And now I will read. Okay. Let's see. What's one did Jasperan choose? Okay. Jasperan chose a quote, I always liked strange characters. And, of course, this is by Jasperan, and it's called John Wayne's Love Story Retold. John Wayne was known for his tours on a horseback. He looked stunning in black boots and a matching coat black. Every criminal was scared of him, and no one dared to attack, as he needed no armed weapons to defeat his enemies on the neck, just a whack. He guarded the city and whatever went on in the city kept the track. He was jolly and witty. He kept everyone happy, and for cracking jokes had a knack. But no one knows the twist in his life story. He married the girl of his dreams. They had unconditional love for each other. They used to take a long walk, look in each other's eyes, and talk about how their day went by the stream. No matter how big the problem, they used to solve it with calm mind, holding each other's hands firmly and working together as a team. One evening he came back home, found her busy watching TV. Food was not cooked. He called her lazy, and an argument ensued. The argument was cut short, and the wife calling it quits. And left home when he said, "You are your mother's brood." The whole neighborhood started spreading false rumors. He had to do something fast. As at stake was his pride. He asked his friend for help, and the search began for the missing bride. The journey was filled with rocky terrain, so they had to go on a hitchhike and ride. Finally, they found her, and he apologized with a box of chocolates and a bouquet of flowers. The wife agreed to come back home, and he said, "You are my world. You are my laurels." End quote.
Well, first off, I am a big John Wayne fan.
You are.
So like that Jazz kind of put that John Wayne spin on this. And, a lot of people didn't know about John Wayne. He was always portrayed as a tough guy, but not many knew about his soft side. And I thought that it was kind of neat that Jazz tried to pull John Wayne's soft side out of there. He was a little hard on his wife, I think, for calling her lazy that dinner wasn't cooked. But this was an excellent write and an excellent take on the prompt, I thought. What did you think, Raz?
Yeah, this is right that reminds me of being left in a surreal movie where you have the thought of John Wayne and then you're looking in to his life, which is now long past, but not in the poem's verses. And what the Duke does is he goes from first idolizing the woman that he loves to a point of she's a kind of divinity. But one day, what strikes him the most is that he's a man and there's not a cooked dinner, and from there a kind of fall ensues until what you might see is John Wayne on horseback riding for miles, Wyoming, Nevada, searching to bring his long-lost love back, and reminder that she was more or less always the light of his world. So it's like a surreal movie written in the verses by Jaskrin. At least that's what I read.
That's cool. That's definitely cool. I like that. Sweet Pea, what do you think?
Well, I love John Wayne. I'm a big fan of his too. I'm blessed to live out west, and there's a lot of John Wayne movies that were made out here, and so I get to go hang out in a lot of his world. There's a whole movie studio that's not too far from where I live that is a lot of fun to go hang out, and but I can see like some of the things, I always say you can't judge a man's character by the laws of today. So when you say that, there's a lot of things that are in this poem, when they say, he came home and his wife wasn't making his dinner, wasn't doing that, there's also some things like you're judging man's character in today's laws. So I don't know how that went or anything like that, but there are ways to treat people and there are ways not to treat people. So I like how this poem brings out other stories about him, because I've also heard that he was quite a bit rude for his time too. So I'm glad this comes out too. So I think that that's great that somebody can bring out this education of him. So that's really good. But I'm glad they got back together, and it was all done with chocolate and flowers.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, but a fight like that doesn't lead to the whole divorce and separation. I mean, this is your usual lover's squabble.
Quarrel.
Yeah, lover's quarrel and lover's squabble.
Right.
Yeah. Boo, what did you think?
Well, I think that's what made him so fascinating too, because I always heard different stories about him too. He was sweet, then he was rough, and then he was just it goes to show you how intriguing and he still is to people, And so I like this, and I know Jax is young, but he writes very mature and he writes with his heart, and I've seen that in a lot of poems that I've read of his, and I think this is delicate but poetic, if that makes sense, and I think he has a good sense of who he thinks he is, and just I think it's a mature write, and it's a good write for him. He's just really polite, good person. I mean, so that I've seen, so and it shows here.
Yeah. Excellent comment. What do you think, hon?
Yeah, I thought this was a great write because, like Sweet Pea said, for his time, as Joseph Moon also said on the board, he was tough. He is He definitely exuded that. But he also had some elements to him that were a bit, upper crust as far as how he viewed things and how he spoke about certain things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of those many men back in that time who had his own opinion, and it wasn't always a very popular one.
And he wasn't afraid to voice his opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those engines were not those pilgrims.
Yeah. Sometimes when you have strong opinions, it can be a bit much for other people. But I'm going very old school. I remembered how many people remember the show Maude with B. Arthur?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Love B. Arthur.
Yeah, he did a cameo in the show as himself, and even in the episode, he had his own outspokenness to him about women's rights and women as well in general. So, I can imagine while having your outspoken elements when it came to a lady in his life, he had the balance of knowing how to treat her respectfully. If you want to be a married man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was 70 years in the past. Women's independence have grown completely everywhere in the Western world. I mean, a woman can do
That's
now
right.
what she cannot do 70 years ago in the past. Live independent, raise her own children, have a profession in which she's the only one who's successful. Everything's completely opposite to those old standards. You can't blame John Wayne for being exactly what a baby boomer's father was like in the 50s.
Yeah?
Yeah, things were definitely different then.
It was.
Now, you can't judge a man today by yesterday's standards. That is very true.
Yeah. Sky's back, and Crystal's here.
Sky, Crystal.
Hello.
Hi, Crystal.
Okay. We should drop booze, and then I'll drop crystals.
Does that sound all right? We'll drop booze and then crystals?
Yeah.
And Sweet Pea's gonna say good night. I love you all.
Oh. Good night, Ping Pong. Good night, Sweet Pea.
Good night.
Oh, thank you.
Sweet. Why am I always missing you? This is the second time I've missed your read.
And my poem was just extremely talked about too, and you weren't here to give me an opinion, and I cried.
This is the third time. This is the third time I missed you tonight. Can you link me both of those?
No.
I will. I linked you the other ones.
I know, but I was on my phone, and I don't like to comment on my phone because I'm really bad at texting. It's like really, really bad. So I don't want to embarrass myself in comments.
This is the second time you've interrupted somebody's show. But okay, I will.
What do you mean interrupted? Oh, asking you for links.
That's awesome.
Just say it. Okay. Good night, everybody. I'll link you that.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Stop wearing clown costumes. You look better. Dress in something else.
Oh, Boo, I'll wait for you to read then. That's okay. I'll wait for Boo to read.
Okay.
Take us away, Boo.
You're
I
up.
just thought it was kind of okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is a quickie. Razor sharp heart. Okay, sullen, misguided Edward roams fluorescent twilight. Obsession can't hide from razor sharp fingertips tonight. Curiosity mutually piqued. Superficial beauty unseen. Chemical properties ignite. Kind burns water into steam. Young lovers misunderstood. Dispel society's prying eyes. Unlikely romantic duo falls beneath dull suburban skies. End poem.
Sweet Pea, go ahead and comment before you hit the road.
Oh my gosh, I love this. First, I love the picture. I'm not into hugging guys with that many sharp things on their arms, but I like young lovers misunderstood. Dispel society's prying eyes. Unlikely romantic duel falls beneath dull suburban skies. And the reason I like this so much is it goes to, believe it or not, the romance I'm currently in.
Oh.
And it does. It goes to my current romance
Your husband
I
has
am.
Scissorhand?
No, it's just a misunderstood romance. When I first started dating him, his friends took me out to lunch and told me to stop dating him.
Oh, my.
Yeah, they actually took me out and told me he was A, too old for me, and B, I was too wild for him.
Oh.
That I would make him unhappy, and that he would eventually find himself in a miserable place with somebody as wild and outgoing as I was.
Huh. Well, that's true.
So nobody understands, who people see, and it's definitely society's prying eyes. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So I really like that because that really kind of fits something that I went through when I first got together with my husband. It just cracks me up.
And you've been together how long now?
We've been married 11 years, but I've known him for like 19 years.
Yeah. Awesome. Because, Kay and I are the same way. There's many people who don't think we should be together, and of course we've been together almost 25 years now. So yeah, they can kiss.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's hard to do. Mm-hmm. Not easy. Thank you, Sweet Pea. Good night.
Good night. You're welcome. Talk to you soon, honey.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's get you. Well, first I'm going to comment because I thought this was a really cool write, Boo. I know you said that you didn't write to any of the quotes and you just went for the Edward Scissorhands write, and you definitely captured the movie's undertones, in my opinion, because the movie, despite it having humor throughout, it did have some very dark and sad undertones, and your write really brings them out. So I really like this brevity. Very well done.
Thank you.
Yep. And Raz, what do you think?
Yeah, it captures the thought of Edward Scissorhands great in the three stanzas, but aside from that, the lines which stand out, which might not just mean the Tim Burton film, happens to be young lovers misunderstood, dispel society's prying eyes, unlikely romantic duo falls beneath dull suburban skies. Now, this can describe any kind of mismatched relationships that, despite what the rest of the world may think, they have come to the decision personally on their own to be with one another, and there's not anything else that's more important in these lovers' hearts. It reminds me also of when you speak of society's prying eyes, you have a relationship like Harry and Meghan Markle, who decided to disown their own royal blood in order to prove that their relationship stands out more than what society might think. So that's a kind of universal message inside the stanzas of what otherwise could have just been on Tim Burton's Edward Scissorhands. Good write.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Good point of view.
Yeah. Let's see. Sky, what do you think?
I thought this was such a great piece, in my top 5 favorite movie list, this is in my top 5 favorite movie list. And I'm very bad at picking favorites, but this is such a great movie. I love that you wrote to it. I love that you captured the essence of it. The superficial beauty, unseen, chemical properties ignites, kind burns water into steam. There's such a beautiful love story in this, and I don't mean just a relationship love. I mean there was so many different connections with this character and the family and the bonds that he created, and yet he was so misunderstood to the world, and that's what I see in this, right? And you captured it, and I really love your language. Twilight obsession, fluorescent, roams, fluorescent twilight. That's just a really pretty way of saying that. The twilight, the fluorescent twilight roaming. And so I thought that was really a good imagery there, and really, really well done. And then you got the suburban skies, beneath dull suburban skies. And that's kind of like putting that cookie cutter, cardboard cutout residence that they were really in. So I thought it was really clever.
Thank you. Thanks, Baby Cakes.
Thanks, Mama Cakes.
I love that movie too. It's so cute.
It is one. It makes I now don't tell anybody this, but I cry every single time I see that movie, and I'm not a crier. Like I lived with someone for 4 years.
That's how I feel about
I
Charlotte
lived
Webb.
with them, and they saw me cry twice, and one is when we broke up.
Yeah.
I am not. But when it's some movies, I'm just like, is this something in my eye? And I
haven't cried at a good film since those old Benji ones from the 70s, but that's when I was a boy.
That's how I feel about Charlotte's Web. I cry every time I see that one. The cartoon one. Charlotte's Web. I cry every time I see it.
Oh, that's cute. That's so
the spider does?
It's so cute, her and her. Oh, it's just adorable. I love the spider.
It's heart-wrenching. That's like the first heartbreak you get as a child is when Charlotte dies.
Yeah. Keep spinning that web.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you go upstairs and step on a spider because it's in your room.
Listen. Don't you forget that I had a spider. I haven't named. It's gone now. I think it's hint for the winter. But
Bruno,
I have one. No, it's what's his name now? That I haven't Frederick. The kids call him Fred. Yeah, Frederick. The kids call him. They don't touch him. They come in my house and because he stays in the same spot and they say, "Hi, Frederick," and they come in and they're fine. They don't touch him. Is that weird? I don't.
No. We used to have one that hung in the bathroom. His name was Boris, and as long as he stayed out of the shower, he could stay as long as he wanted. As soon as he goes to the shower.
That's mostly where Frederick hung out, was in the bathroom. And then there was two, and the kids came over to me, and they were like so excited. They're like, "Oh, there's another one! Can we name him Dominic?" And I'm like, these children, I have turned them to spider-like. Like, don't you dare kill them!
We're going to get back to Boo's poem. We're going to have Kay comment on Boo's poem, and then we're going to have Crystal comment on it, and then Crystal can read. How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead, hon.
Well, I have to agree with what everybody's saying because the story itself, it does have the sad elements because by the end of the movie, they both love each other. But the thing is, it's also a romance that's not destined to be, as even though the love is there, that it's very great, they know they have to part ways as well. And sometimes that's the saddest thing when you know that you love somebody, but you just can't be together and you have to part. Because their love definitely, in its own way, was one that had no real way of becoming anything more than what they wanted because they lived their own different lives, different worlds. This is probably, as far as Tim Burton, this and The Nightmare Before Christmas are my two favorite Tim Burton films. Because, guys, the movie itself, if I'm watching it alone, it can bring out the tears. So I can understand what Guy is saying. It's a great movie.
I love his wife. She looks so cool, doesn't she? Helena, what's her name? Helena Bonham Carter, something like that. She's badass.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still married, but yeah.
Yeah. That's Tim Burton's wife for a while.
Yeah, she played Ophelia in Hamlet.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Yeah, Crystal, would you like to comment on Boo's poem and then read yours?
Yeah, I'll do that. Because nobody yell at me, okay? I'm not a movie person, but I've never seen this movie all the way through. Sorry. But I do know the story, and I know how the movie goes. I'm just not a movie person. I don't watch that many movies. I read more books or watch more TV shows. Yeah, I like the way that you did with it, Boo. I feel like it still had that little bit of attitude that you always put in it. Like there was just like a tad in there, but at the same time you can still see the darkness. You can still see the romance and things like that. And I think like you did just like a great job on it. Like it being based off the movie. Yeah, you did a great job. I also love the title too.
Thank you.
I love that title.
Thanks, Crystal.
Now I'm probably going to get booted out of the group.
Yes, you're signing your papers as we speak.
That's normally the way it is. I come in here and it's like everybody's talking about a movie and I'm like, I haven't seen that movie all the way through. Or I haven't seen that movie at all. Well, some people may have heard this one before because I pretty much did a bad thing. I wrote for 2 shows, but oh well. And I took 2 quotes. But this is called I'm a Stained Glass Window. I'm a stained glass window, painted to be beautiful, but fragile enough to shatter. I spread my wings out, a butterfly to nature, to souls I pitter-patter. Yet with all the happiness I bring, only sin is the angers in others. My crayons were broken, and the rain drained all my colors. Not white, not black, yet not even gray. What color is my glass when I feel this way? Nor positive or negative. There is no charge. Pieces of me damaged, some small, some large. I'm a stained glass window, not dark or shining, but still trying to brighten others. Reflections of me in a mixed match of different colors. And poem.
Excellent. Very well done. I thought this was very cool. It kind of makes me think of how complex we all are. And I really like that the part where you say, yet with all the happiness I bring only centers the anger in others. That makes me think of the jealousy that many of us endure.
Yeah.
Actually, and I thought this was wonderful imagery and an excellent write, Crystal. Very well done.
Thank you, Stephen.
And we all do that, by the way. Kay calls it double dipping.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
Let's get you some more comments. Raz, what did you think of Crystal's poem?
Yeah, this is a great example of postmodernism writing, where you have the individual in society pondering all there is to social rules and those in their lives, and all that mixes up within the actual metaphoric right. The description of the stained glass window being the self means that everyone else can look at these morals, and what they see reflected back is really the byproduct of what we did to the system or society to this individual person. And that's what I mean about it being a great illustration of modernism.
Excellent comment. Boo, what did you think?
Sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. My button is really. Okay, sorry about that. My screen is tripping too. I had to read this one a couple of times. I see a few different things going on here. We're talking about the one from Kay, right? Just making sure I got this right. Kindred Crystal. Sorry, I'm on the wrong poem. No wonder. Sorry, Crystal. Okay. Now I'm on the right poem. Okay. Well, first of all, I love the picture, and I love stained glass windows. I mean, I used to make them, not like, professionally, but with my daughter, we had this little kit and we made them. And I don't know, something about when I see them in church and you're talking about your wings and your butterfly wings, I see spirituality here. Like you see in church that vision of pure colors and the songs and the hymns and the way it smells and the way it looks, and it's peaceful. And I'm probably way off, but that's what I see. And then when you say why I feel this way, no positive, no negative, there is no charge, pieces of me damaged, makes me sad too, because I only see you like that window, so bright and vibrant and shiny, and you say reflections of me and mix match in different colors, almost like you're coloring outside the lines. You don't know how you feel about yourself, so you don't know where you're going, misdirection. I don't know. I see all those things in there, but just like it's almost at a crossroads. That's what I see. I don't know if I'm way off, Crystal, but it makes you think. So that's a good poem to me.
You're kind of close, Boo. It's kind of like being about, I guess you could say me or just people in general, where you're always trying to find the positivity in everything. But whenever that line talks about the anger, is that you trying to be positive, but everybody is constantly weighing you down. And then you're in this mix of, I want to be a good person, but at the same time, you don't know how to feel. That's what you're saying, like not negative, not positive, not black, not white, not really sure how you feel. So you're right about like the crossroads right in there. Mm-hmm. You're right about that.
Thank you. Good job. You're always honest, so you always put your feelings out there. So every poem you read of yours, you get to feel like you get to know you better. And that's nice.
Awesome comments. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I like the interpretation because, it's true. We all have those moments in life where we have to figure out how to navigate. And I can understand that well because this is something I say a lot at home. I prefer to come at somebody in positivity. So I find it hard when people cannot do that. I always say, is it that hard to be positive if, you give positive back? It should just be an easy thing all around. And sometimes I think that makes a person, as far as their character, very caring and loving as well. If they can approach situations and people in a loving manner instead of everything else in between. Even when they're not talking to that person in general. I think that this is a great reflective right because I can understand it very well because I like how you incorporate that, one is fragile. At the end of the day, we all are fragile, but sometimes even a person who is fragile can still be cold and hurtful while others cannot. I think the more beautiful souls are the ones that, whether they're talking to a person and when they're not talking to a person, they exude the same thing in both directions instead of being one way and being another. I definitely think that makes that a very more empathetic, loving person. A beautiful reflective right.
Thank you, Kay.
And we lost Sky. She had to go to bed.
Oh, yeah. That's okay.
Good night, Sky.
Good night, Sky.
Okay. I pulled a rabbit out of my hat. I'm very proud of myself today because I have 3 rights and 2 of them are still in my draft for next week. And I found words for today. I actually wrote to the following quote. I always liked strange characters. I am not a dark person and I don't consider myself dark. And I guess I feel so tortured most of the time. When I see someone else feeling tortured, I get a little perverse glee out of it. Okay. I call
that on.
Yeah. I call this kindred freaks of my heart. Nocturnal flights of truth, breeze, waltzes of silence, serenades of spring's romance and renewal of promise, marches to a rattle of beatitudes and overtures, grace in my heart. Moonlight sonatas still the waves of time that beat through a heart. Atonement of days with intentions of a redemptive song through the eyes of clarity. Lush seductions of enchantment, astute vibrations and force of intensity. Sing luminously to a symphonic heart that hears the angels weep. Poetry from the heart weeps in the season of discontent through provocation, of flirtations. This taste is one of heaven and hell through shattering artistry. Nocturnal flights of truth sings meticulously of moonlight sonatas. Lush seductions of enchantment bewitch the soul. Poetry from the heart is etched by you. Grace in my heart through the eyes of clarity to a symphonic heart that hears the angels weep through shattering artistry. I always liked strange characters. You, I know how to tame. I'm not a dark person, and I don't consider myself dark. But what I have found a kindred to, others see as weird, for they are the blind to not see the beauty in the unique. I guess I feel so tortured most of the time. When I see someone else feeling tortured, I get a little perverse glee out of it, because I know I am not alone. We'll lick the salt of our wounds and be free of critiqued boxes that confine. End quote.
Yeah, you definitely pulled a rabbit out of your head, as you said.
I did.
And this is a very deep write, as you always write deep. And I get your journey out of it. You've traveled through so much shit to find yourself on the other side. And I certainly am glad that I was there on the journey with you. But this is very excellent write.
Thank you.
Raz, what do you think?
It's the Danny Alexander quote on I have traveled through the heart of madness to only find my heart. Kay's right here is about just knowing someone else might seem different, but it doesn't mean they're any less human. While you can always find relation with anyone really if you care to bother to have that kind of time and try to learn what there is to this other person, of which they have similarities like any other human being would to your own mutual progress. That's what I like, that the freaks in turn are not so much freaks, but people who are only looking for a friend and all that strange darkness, or going through the stages of madness to find one's heart.
Thank you.
Awesome comment. And Boo, what did you think?
I see, after a while, you get sick of all the bullshit, and the boots aren't tall enough, they're not long enough, and they're not strong enough to make it through the terrain over and over again. And you just get at your wit's end, and that's when you let go of the negative and try to focus on the positive, those who want to be here and those who want to be around you, and let the other stuff go. And I love the picture. I've traveled through sadness too. What does that say to find me? And man, shit. If that's the case, and you've been through mountains and terrain and the Alps and the desert and everything else under the sun, and you're still standing, so that says a lot, regardless
Another
of what others
Elton
might
John
think.
song, I'm still standing.
Yeah. As soon as you come out the other side, how you get there ain't important. That's what I see. Empowerment here.
Thank you.
Awesome comment. Crystal, what do you think?
Well, I love the poetry from the heart weeps from the season of discontent. I feel like that line is really, really profound. But the whole thing that sticks out to me the most is the line where you say that you know that you're not alone. And that was the part to me that really, like that just stuck out. Because it makes me think some people think that they have suffered more than others, in which maybe they have, but when you think about it, all of us have lived life, all of us have suffered, and we've all been through some, like what Boo was saying, all the names of the mountains. Like we've all been through some kind of mountain. One just maybe have gone in a higher distance than the other, but we all have our ups and our downs. And at the same time, though, is that we have each other, and that, like I said, neither one of us are alone through anything. But yeah, I really like this one. I think it's beautiful and deep and just really profound.
Mhm. And you know, who wouldn't want a man that what your man just said? I'm glad that I've been here with you.
I know.
All of it. Like, hello, holla, Steve. Mhm.
Yeah. He gets rewarded
Yeah.
nicely.
Mhm.
Okay.
And what a difference that song makes.
I'm going to have Boo read the next one.
Okay. All right. And that's from Julie Moore?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oops, I just pressed the wrong spot. Oh, darn. I'm getting all fidgety here. Here we go. I have to go. Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry. I need a new screen. All right. So this is day-old newspapers from Julie Moore. Okay. A day-old newspaper laying on the kitchen table dated November 6, 2006. Maybe such a date that cannot be recalled. Not very news inside. Photographs of a collision. There lies a dead man. Horrifying that I wasn't the one on the front cover. A timid child meeting a stranger, someone in the space she had claimed for herself but once was his. A war of pain being fought in his eyes, but was victorious when the two strangers became friends. That corner in the very room was meaningless, but to her it meant friendship. To her parents it meant she was occupied, for the time being, was well behaved. To them he didn't exist, but he was everything to her. As I recall, another stranger claimed to know about our corner, claiming that she loved the very man. Was she to take him from me? Did I take him from her as my very own, or did aging and death take him from both of us? End poem.
Yeah, excellent read. I thought that this was very. The quote that she wrote to was, let's see, from Tim Burton, I believe. A lot of things you see as a child remain with you. You spend a lot of your life trying to recapture the experience. Yeah. And I thought, the story she told, the imagery, whether this was a friendly ghost or an imaginary friend, children have the gift of seeing things, and seem to lose that ability as we grow older. And then later in life, we wish to reclaim that gift. So maybe we could see some of those that we missed. But I thought this was a great write. Boo, you read it. What did you think?
Well, that quote right there is so true, and I don't think a lot of people realize it. When, whatever the case may be, if you fight in front of your kids or you are rude in front of your kids, or they're looking at you, they're like little sponges, and they remember and imitate everything they see and do. And we got hers like so jacked up, she doesn't know which way is which. You know what I mean? Because that's how you get sometimes so confused when two different people are telling you two different things, and how it changes somebody, and you're never quite the same. And a lot of people don't realize that effect they have on kids. I think that's what I see here. A great message.
Yeah, very cool comment. Let's see, Raz, what did you think?
Well, what happened on that date, November 6, 2006, I quickly Googled Federico Lopez died, the basketball player. So I'm assuming maybe the poem is not on Federico Lopez. And it was the year of the dog. So what do you have there? And that's more or less minor details that you can read deeper into the poem of why is this person in the newspaper someone who is known by more than one person, and yet their death remained a mystery. So I like the lines of, enigmatic allusions that are drawn out of the verse, that you're staring into a puzzle that does not want to be completely solved, of knowing whom they mean that was on that literal old newspaper page.
Yeah.
By Julia Moore.
Yes, indeed. Excellent comment. Yes. And Crystal, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree a lot with Boo's comment. I like what she said there about like everything that you do, anything that a child sees, they're going to memorize it, they're going to know. And I've paid attention to that over the years, is like being a nanny and a babysitter and stuff like that, and even working as a sub teacher before and stuff. And you just pay attention what kids know and what they see in their everyday lives. But yeah, I like how she wrote to this quote. I feel like the story was just like really well done. And like I also felt like at the same time though, she made the quote even more deeper with the story, or at least that's how it seemed to me. But I think it was beautiful.
Excellent comment. And we have two more to go.
Somehow Federico Lopez is not the right answer of everything that might have been in the paper.
That's true. Oh, Dan. All right. It looks like I am up to bat. And I didn't go with one of the quotes about darkness or childhood, although I did kind of take it in a childhood way. I wrote to the quote from Tim Burton, "Movies are like an expensive form of therapy for me." And I call it silver screen therapy.
That fits you perfect.
That's what I was thinking too.
No matter the pain or sorrow felt, or how deep the cuts in my psyche ran, it would all melt away into a glowing wall. A wall that would pull me in and hold me in its warm embrace, filling my mind with wonder, excitement, and laughter. Even after the 120 minutes, the bliss would continue for days, as wonderful memories spun webs in my head and kept me stuck within my imagination. But as with all good things, sooner or later it ends, and real life stabs with its bitter remembrances and sharp teeth, always looking forward to the next new release. End poem.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool right, because I know there's a lot to be said for getting lost in movies and even music, because sometimes they do offer an escape, but sometimes they also offer inspiration too. And I think that's a beautiful way to think about that with life, because I know we're kind of nerds in the respect that we're kind of movie buffs, and we're always throwing quotes at each other. And it helps that, there's certain people here that are the same way, so we're just bouncing off of each other with our movie knowledge. So that's kind of cool as well. So it, makes you feel like you have a kindred, kinship with other people. If you can just, throw these quotes at each other and relate to movies very well, because they do have a relatable factor. They do. It's always great to get lost in certain things, because we need that.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought it was a cool ride.
Thanks.
What do you think, Raz?
Yeah, the movies compensate for a type of medication, like this poem said. It can be therapeutical. You can just withdraw in the film the imaginary worlds that are described through the teleplays and find yourself at least in a state where you're numbed or able to alleviate your ordinary stress and pain. So that speaks true of the right, that in a sense there's a kind of drug out there, and it happens to be Netflix, it happens to be HBO specials, it happens to be satellite television, it happens to be a way of just numbing out the pain of daily life and stress. And what Steve wrote, in other words, happens to be an alternative religion too, not just therapy. It depends on the person. It's a whole new level of trying to take away the pain, at least for a while. But sooner or later, the lights shut out, the theater's dark, and then you have to confront what was really on your mind.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So I like books, books and the movies and, whatever you do to escape. I like your metaphor that you just said of drugs. If there are drugs, some people's drugs, like, sex or gambling or movies, whatever the case may be, you all want to escape.
PCP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good to get lost and stuff.
Yeah.
It is. What do you think, Crystal?
Yeah, like I said, I don't watch too many movies, but I do have like quite a few movies that I watch when I'm feeling like really down or like I just want to get away from real life. I always hear people when they go to see movies or they watch one and they're like, this wasn't very real, and I was like, you're not watching it to be real. When you're watching a movie, you want to get away from real life. It's like it's a fantasy. Let it be whatever it needs to be. So yeah, I hate when people say that because it is a way sometimes of therapy. Whether you're listening to a song or watching a movie or reading a book or something, there's always something you need to get away from the real world, just to calm down and go into your own world.
Exactly.
Did you want to add to what you said, Boo, before we get to the next right?
I was just going to say, it's like what Crystal just said, I don't like when people say that either. It's because I'm like, I'm trying to escape from my problems, okay? At least give me that 2 hours where I can just, like, go somewhere else. And, you can't think of the word movie buff. I mean, I can't now without thinking Steve, because, man, he knows so much about movies. It's, like, really cool.
That binge, channel surf, relax until the next dose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is entertaining, and you could tell you love movies, and that's a good thing. You could be great. You could replace Siskel and Ebert, Steve.
Thanks.
Are they still around? I don't even know, but
I'm not sure.
What?
Siskel and Ebert. I think so.
Siskel and Ebert. Oh, the one he passed away.
Yeah, the one guy did die.
Yeah, he did, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had throat cancer. Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah, he had a long
He gave a lot of charity.
One guy had thumb cancer too, so he couldn't do the thumbs up anymore.
Yeah, right. No.
I know.
Bad joke.
I'm playing. I like what Crystal said though too about and Boo agree about the people saying this wasn't very real. You just walked out of a Superman movie.
Yeah.
Of course it wasn't real. The guy was flying around.
Yeah.
What do you mean that wasn't real? Oh.
People don't really fly the space program. That's awesome.
You walk out like, no way, really?
Yeah.
That's like
or an animated movie. What do you mean it wasn't real?
Said, you know how in the movies they go, hey, call me. Hey, my number's 555. There's always 555, right? So they said that they had to change it because so many people were calling the phone numbers in the movies. I just thought, okay, like, not literally. It's crazy.
Yeah. You want me to read for T. Perry? Okie dokie. This is the last poem we got of the night from T. Perry, and it is called, I should read the whole name, right? T. Perry, 898, and it's called Bad Omens. Say, why don't we burn the hero, cut the wood against the grain? When they're standing in the sunshine, I'll be dancing in the rain. Polished manufactured entities will take each one to task, then seek out the sweet subversive who resides beneath the mask. Let him be some small town loser or sideshow novelty who would be unloved and invite hate and animosity. He could be a smiling sociopath from somewhere out of town, or a homicidal maniac, or a dodgy circus clown. He shall have a wife called Becky, who sleeps in a wooden box, who shall dance completely naked at the full moon equinox. Talking with a funny stutter, she'll keep leeches in a jar, and shall wear a full-length bridal veil to camouflage her scars. There will be a brooding drumbeat, and a hollow moon shall shine. Everything will be off focus and completely misaligned. In a brooding Gothic climax, I shall sport a vacant grin, and would feel each tiny maggot crawling just beneath my skin. End poem. And darn it, Sky went to bed, and the maggot word was in here.
Oh. Yeah.
But I thought this was really cool. I thought the imagery that he put in this was very freaky. The rhyme and flow were just freaking perfect. I mean, that was amazing how he kept that. I told him that he had me scratching itches that weren't there, thinking about those maggots just under the skin. But this is really cool, and I get a chuckle about thinking of Becky dancing naked under the full moon. I bet she would, even though I'm sure he wasn't writing about our Becky.
That's what I was going to say.
You don't mean screaming Becky, but the wife, right? I mean, or let's go all the way Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
Yes. What'd you think of it, Raz?
Yeah, this man has captured more or less the elements to horror. What he's describing, how the hero's dead, the wood's burning, and in that process, your former images of normalcy have been hindered and taken down. Only climaxes in the fact that either he's growing closer to this unknown person who comes from the moon being full, or maybe has a premonition on himself or another person's death. So all these elements are parapsychological and in the realm of horror, and for that it's a good write because it captures what you expect to see once you reach the far side.
Excellent comment. Crystal, what did you think?
Yeah, I think he created like kind of just like a great story, like each line after line. I'm so very glad though that I was muted because Susan was saying you have a wife named Becky who sleeps in a wooden box. But I couldn't do it. I was like, Becky. Somebody just needs to send Becky this poem. I may do it. Just send it to her like, well, your name's in here. I thought you might like to know. Hopefully she doesn't think it's actually her, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a great piece for this is
Awesome comment. I think it looks like we lost Boo.
Yeah.
So what did you think, hon? And then we can make our acknowledgments.
Yeah. I thought this was a great write. And it's funny how when we all heard the name Becky, we all were thinking to ourselves a certain way. This write is very animated with the visuals he gives because they really are. And I love the dark elements that he brought forth as well in the closing stanza. So yeah, this is pretty cool all around. It really fits to the tune of how he likes strange characters.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Cool, right?
Cool, right? Awesome poems tonight.
Yeah. And I will make my acknowledgments, and then you could do your thing.
All right.
Yeah. So I just want to say tonight for the people who did call in that also read Raz, Sky, Boo, Sweepy, and Crystal. Then on the board, Joseph Moon, which we read from, and also on the board was Sonia, 3902V, and Jeff Graham, which we read from. And then, of course, we also had rights from Heavenly Angel, Fountain Pen, Julie Moore, 1, and T. Perry, 898. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who did call in and participate and was on the board tonight.
Excellent. And let's see, shows coming up. Sky's not here. So I'll plug her show. But Friday night instead of tomorrow night is going to be Movement of Sound because of my wonderful work schedule. Yeah. And it will be at 10:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. once again, because of my wonderful work schedule.
Yeah.
And this week we're focusing on the musical talents of Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
So you can write to either some of his orchestra type stuff that he did for movies, or even back in the day when he sang with Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
Always an interesting band name.
It is, yeah.
Yes. So then Saturday night we have Sky.
Yeah. Called Shutter Button Poetry.
Shutter Button Poetry. All poems written to her pictures.
Well, no. Well, if you entered a contest
From her contest.
Yeah, if you participate and you have consent, then that'll be the portrait.
I bet that if you just wrote to one of her pictures, she'd let you read.
Well, that too. Yeah. It's her form of open poetry for this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun.
I did have my question,
if
I could take a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
More or less like the last blog. Russia is still controlled by Vladimir Putin. I see no one has listened to me about signing a petition to the international tribal community, because that's the same thing as socialism. But if you think they're not a threat, then, I mean, what have we been doing with the Senate the entire 3 years, saying they're responsible for influencing elections of other nations? But either way, once we open our eyes to Russia, now that Vladimir Putin is the only head of the state, maybe then we can confront our common enemy to try and raise a better global community of democracy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. And continuing my plug Tuesday, right? We're up to Tuesday.
Yes.
Next Tuesday. Oh, the time, though. The time for Sky Show is at 7 p.m.?
I got to talk to her. It's either 7 or 8 p.m. Usually our shows start at 7, but our schedules, as you are starting to see, because of work, gets in the way. So I'd like to say 8 o'clock, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll plan for 8.
Okay. Damn real life.
I know.
Damn need of a paycheck.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday, in the Mortuary of Shadows, American Horror Story returns for Season 3, Coven. We found, Kay and I binge-watched the entire season, and we found a total of 29 quotes to write from. Check those out.
These are not the ones Dorothy was scared of in Oz, but the real thing from Salem.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then next Wednesday, the Poetic Inklings of Tomorrow. We'll be focusing on
Maya Angelou.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 poems and 3 quotes from Maya Angelou. Check that one out. That one we're expecting we're expecting some good stuff from that.
Or if you have a pre-write that you feel fits to one of her poems that she wrote, or a quote prompt, then drop that down too.
Yeah, of course. Well, everybody knows they can do that.
I know, but I feel I should say that.
Right. And then next week on the movement of sound, we are going to stick with the word sound.
Yeah.
And we're featuring songs from Soundgarden to write to.
Yeah.
And all those shows tentatively, other than Mortuary of Shadows, is at 10:30 p.m., but the rest of them are tentatively at 7 p.m. I don't get my schedule until Friday, and then everything gets kind of moved around.
Okay.
And that's what we got.
Yeah, and we'll talk about next Saturday, probably on Friday night.
Yeah. But
Long live in peace, Chris Cornell, Black Hole Sun.
Yeah. I can give you a little hint about next Saturday.
Yeah?
We're going to go to the dark side of Valentine's Day.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to feature the movie Fatal Attraction.
That's as dark as you can get.
Oh, just that dark. You weren't going to mention some kind of angel that nobody reads about in books that happen to curse the actual holiday?
No.
Yeah.
No, we're going to talk about Glenn Close boiling the little girl's bunny rabbit. That's Valentine's Day.
Because she will not be able to.
All right.
You should ask Crystal if you have a show coming up.
Okay, yeah. Crystal, do you have any shows coming up?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I just finished my show tonight. I think my next show on Team of Voices is the 11th, but, that's a ways off. But, yeah, that's all I know.
Okay. All right. All righty, then. We're going to play our music and call it a night.
Yeah, and don't forget our next show is Friday.
Friday instead of tomorrow.
Yeah.
At 10:30.
Yeah.
A poetic slice, there's always a slice of heaven.
Ah, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody helps make it that heaven, so.
Yeah.
All right. Song time.
Song time, yes. And I will say goodnight because our closer song is like 8 minutes, so if you hang up, I understand. And I will say goodnight.
Good
I
night.
appreciate you all for hanging
Good night.
out.
Yes, good night. Fun night.
night.
Fun time.
Good night, guys.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night. Ready? Okay. I believe that is that.
That's all she wrote.
That is all she wrote.
Another episode in the books. Thanks for hanging with us, Brad.
You can use YouTube legal defense. Don't worry, Steve.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna get a little snack and hit a sack, I think.
Yeah, shortly after. It's been a long day.
Yes, it has.
So yeah. So we'll see you Friday night, Brad.
Yep. Take it easy.
See you around.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.